Hi, this is Colby from the Colby Cast, and you're listening to Star Wars Reactions. Elegant discussion for a more civilized age.
There's been an awakening. Have you felt it?
In 1977, George Lucas formed a legacy.
Force is with me, and I am with the Force.
Inspired by mythology, his saga has become a passion for many.
Feel the Force around you.
His legend has become our story.
It's true.
One of resistance,
We are a spark that'll light the fire that'll bring the First Order down.
rebellion,
Rebellion is built on hope.
and redemption.
I am a Jedi, like my father before.
This is Star Wars Reactions.
Remember, the Force will be with you. Always.
Well, hello everybody, and welcome to Star Wars Reactions. Welcome back. We're here and going to have a great episode for you today. Let's get the introductions out of the way. My name is Aaron Harrison. Joining me, as always, he's the man, the myth, the legend. There is no other like him anywhere on the podcast world. It is the David Motters. What's up, brother?
What is up, my brother? Ready to react and ready to kind of, just get into some fun stuff here, some fun animation. But we haven't been able to record on a consistent basis. So it's good to get back at it.
Yeah, it's been we had our relaunch episode we were all excited for and went over real good, real big, and then next thing you know, last week happened and you had some family things come up and I ended up breaking a tooth and ended up having unexpected oral surgery Friday morning and lost all my wisdom teeth, and it has been it's been a long week, my friend. I am still on still on solid foods, or on soft foods, I should say. So
I can't believe how good you look, man. When I had it done, all four wisdom were impacted, right under the gum, and did it my first year of college. Between freshman and sophomore year, and oh my gosh, it's no joke, man.
no, it was. I tell you what, there's pain and then there's dental pain, and they always, that to me, dental pain is probably the worst pain that I've had. And I've taken a soccer ball, kicked as hard as somebody can kick it to my nether regions, full blast, and my teeth still hurt worse than that. So
yeah, it's so tender in there, so tender. So you're looking good, bud. You sound good too.
thank you. I've tried to rest the voice as much as possible. So
Yeah.
trying to get things healed up and together again, and yeah, so we'll see how it goes. And but we got a great episode this week, or we got for you lined up. We're going to get back into the groove of reacting to Star Wars, and because there was a lot that came out while we were out through the beginning of the year. So we're going to kick everything off with the Tales of the Underworld series. We're going to divide the Tales of the Underworld into two episodes because there were two arcs about two different characters. We will do one character this time and one character next time. And just have fun with it. So this week for you, we are going to sit back and break down the 3 episodes of the Cad Bane Arc. Those would be all 3 of these episodes were the story was developed by Dave Filoni. All 3 of them were written by Matt Mechnovitz. Now, the first episode, The Good Life, directed by Saul Ruiz. The second episode, A Good Turn, by Stuart Lee. And third, but not least, the One Good Deed episode by Nate Villanueva. I like that name. I can really get some Spanish flair on it. Villanueva. Anyhow, all of them released May 4th, 2025. Good Life is a synopsis of each episode. A Good Life is where two young friends get caught up in a gangster scheme. A Good Turn is where Bane reunites with an old friend who's on the opposite side of the law. And the good deed, and the last episode, One Good Deed, Cad Bane and his gang return home to settle a score, aka High Noon. So let's go ahead and jump into this and go ahead and get our reactions going. Let's start with our initial reactions, David, and I'm going to pass the floor to you, my friend, and let you get our reactions going.
Yeah, I think for me to start, I just thought about ranking these. I just kind of, that was my first inclination. Usually I give all kinds of thoughts, but after watching this, it's almost 2 months ago. Tomorrow will be 2 months, May 4th to July 4th. So we're just under 2 months since these came out. But if I were asked to rank the three Tales of series, I would rate Tales of the Jedi number one, Tales of the Empire number two, and of course Aaron and I have talked about, well, probably should have a different title. And then this one number three, literally in the order in which they came out. First was the best, second best, third. That's just me. I feel like they've progressively gotten not as good, kind of gone down a little bit. Not tons, but some. And second, of these two arcs, I prefer the Asajj arc over the Cad Bane arc. And maybe just kind of a third initial point would be there are some good messages in this Cad Bane arc that everyone can learn from, and I'll discuss those more in our talking points. How about you, buddy?
Very good. Very good. You know, I was really excited when they announced Tales of the Underworld. You know, I've really enjoyed these Tales stories, Tales of stories, Tales of the Jedi, Tales of the Empire, not so much. Tales, of course, Underworld. I was all excited for, hoping they could redeem themselves. And they did to a certain extent in my eyes. You know, I was really excited because it was supposed to be about Cad Bane and Asajj Ventress. These were going to be great. You know, I'll save my Ventress comments for the Ventress episode. But for Cad Bane, you know, this arc left me wanting, honestly. It felt like honestly, this whole arc felt like an old gangster movie set in Chicago where childhood friends end up on opposite sides of the law. With you mix in the movie High Noon, the old Western High Noon. I mean, there was nothing really explosive about this. You know, Cad Bane has been a great baddie since the Clone Wars, and then he brought him back in Bad Batch. I mean, there's a lot of great things about this character: the mystery, the swagger, the sheer coldness. And in my opinion, I don't know if we even really needed this arc, because part of it is that mystery. You know, when we got the background on Boba Fett, did we really need that? As in, you know, some of the background of him being a clone and stuff like that. Did we really need that? You know, granted, if we wouldn't have gotten that, we wouldn't have met Daniel Logan. But hey, you know, we take the good with the bad, you know. But you know, Logan being the good part. But you know, this was one of those things that we I don't know if we really need it, because the question you got to ask is, does this arc and does the story being told enhance the character that we already love? And honestly, in my opinion, it didn't. It honestly took him from a bad guy that I liked to a bad guy that I honestly don't like. It's you know, I part of me wants to go all George Lucas on this and pretend it's the holiday special and black it out. But it's here, so let's do it. I mean, it does have its good things, and you know, and that's one thing we always said when we were doing Resistance is, you know, there were a couple episodes through Resistance that were just like so bad, but there were still good things we could talk about, even though the story was just so bad. And there's still some good things in this to talk about, even though I did not enjoy the story or felt like it enhanced anything at all. Um, but let's go ahead and jump into a few things here in our talking points. I know you here in the notes you've got something written in here for a mini psychology corner, and I'm going to let you jump right into that. But first, before we do that, though, Colby,
Yeah.
Colby.
Yeah.
I mean,
I,
I love Colby cast. I love Colby, man. He's a great guy. But Cad Bane's name is Colby.
yeah, I don't, how do they do, I don't know the point of it, you know,
I
it,
mean,
it's not, yeah. I don't know why they didn't just leave it. Like Nero, his friend was Nero in all 3 episodes.
yeah. I mean, I guess it's a disconnect thing. I mean,
Yeah.
you go in and take on. I mean, I like you look at the bad guys of the old west, Billy the Kid and stuff like that. That wasn't his real name. His real name wasn't Billy. Billy the Kid wasn't Billy. I mean, it was a pseudonym, it was a nickname. And I guess Cad Bane could be his nickname, but
Yeah.
Colby.
Yeah.
I mean, at least have something to do with the word cad, like maybe carradine. Uh, I mean, I
Right.
don't. I'm spitballing
I
here.
think of David Carradine, right? Carradine. Yeah.
But it is what it is. Good for you, Colby.
Yeah.
You're canon now, buddy.
That's right.
Uh,
We
so
love him. We love him. I just don't, I don't get it here in this case. Dan says it a lot. Names mean a lot.
mhm.
And so I just leave it. That's me. That's me on that one. Um,
Well,
but
yeah. I mean, a lot of you sit there and you look at through history, your name is who you are. Your name is everything. Your reputation is attached to your name.
mhm.
And that's your name is what's when you're dead and gone, your name is what lives on. And how people look at that name is how people are going to remember you. And, I mean, I don't see the need to give Cad a different name, but
Mhm. Yeah.
they did. So yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. That was one of the things I didn't enjoy about this episode.
Agreed. It's one part of why, and you said it in your opening remarks. Does it add to the lore, to the mystery, to the swagger, to the coldness? No, that's just one part,
Mhm.
and so I don't, and it's okay. Usually you and I, we're very PMA, positive mental attitude, and we're very balanced and stuff like that. I think, it's just okay that we're not as hip on this arc and some of the stuff they did in it. That's okay.
Yeah, and the thing is, and that's one thing that you and I have always agreed on is there's going to be things, and we've said this a lot through especially when Last Jedi came out, then Resistance, and then of course everything with Acolyte that happened in Book of Boba Fett, and even with Visions, there are going to be things that some people like that other people don't,
Mhm.
and vice versa. You really enjoyed the first season of
Mhm.
Visions.
Mhm.
I, I did. It was all I could to make it through once so we could review it.
Right.
Um,
Right.
it's it's not going to be for everybody, and that's fine. And I'm totally cool with that. And the people that are good with it and love it, dude, I am stoked that you got something you love.
Well, and
Um,
if we said that we liked everything, is that really intellectually honest? Right.
exactly,
Not. It's not. It's
exactly,
okay. And our listeners have stuff they like and then stuff they don't like. It's okay. We
exactly,
love Star Wars, but it's okay if we don't like certain series or certain shows or certain arcs.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And for me, this arc was one of them. So, but yeah. but it is what it is. It was still, it's still animated Star Wars. It's still something good. I mean, the whole arc wasn't bad. It had its good points, and apparently it was deep enough. You pulled a psychology corner right from its guts.
I did.
So tell us about it.
Yeah, yeah. As I went back and watched them again to prepare, it really jumped out to me. I thought, yeah, let's do a mini psychology corner, and I wanted to do it on two psychological concepts. One is greed, and the other one's anger. Um, with greed, you really see it start to develop over time, and Laszlo really feeds that in the two boys, at least tries to, and Cad really goes for it. Um, it's not easy to rise above it. You start getting nice stuff, and you want more stuff. Um, I think about the current political climate. Something I've told my clients, and I've been really helping my clients from all the political parties since really the 2016 election, and I've really talked about how I think it's almost like we have to get away from political parties and understand that this is about money and who has the most. I think about Congress. I would like them to vote themselves term limits. I think all Democrats and Republicans would love to see that. I haven't heard any say no. I don't want that. And they always seem to vote themselves a raise when it comes up. They never seem to vote that down, Aaron. I want you to be able to do that. I want all of our listeners to be able to vote themselves a raise. I would like to, but guess what? I don't get to. But the reason I bring that up is because part of the challenge becomes lobbying, and it's what I thought about, a real message of greed through what, Filoni's doing here. And I see that in Congress, when you throw a pile of money at these people, guess what? They're going to ask you to vote the way they want you to vote. And so these are big issues that we have to get past as humans, right? Greed and lust. And then here's anger. Um, I was watching this and, Cad, he loses his best friend, Nero. And then he loses his significant other, Aaron, her, and then ultimately a son, right? Because of this emotion, anger that comes so quickly. I was watching it and I really liked how there's a real lack of seeing reality when Cad says to Nero, quote, "You took everything from me," unquote. Totally not true, right? Anger just blinds you. And again, it's not easy to rise above anger. I was covering it with clients today. I was talking about the three emotions before anger: hurt, fear, frustration. And I think that was pretty helpful to my clients. And it's something that I reiterate quite a bit. And I'll just quickly, as a little mini psychology corner, just remind our listeners about Aristotle's challenge. And Aristotle's challenge was, can all of us show, it's three components. Can you show the right amount of anger at the right issue at the right time? And if you do, that's a real good presentation of anger or frustration. And so there you go, a little mini psychology corner.
There we go. There we go. And for the record, I did vote myself a pay raise, walked into my boss's office, and she laughed at me and told me to get back to work. So that went over really well.
Exactly.
But it goes back to, you were going through everything, and it kind of took me back to Master Yoda. Fear leads to hate, hate leads to anger, anger leads to suffering.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the truth in that is universal, no matter what. So
Yeah.
well done, well done. To me, the one good thing about this the best thing about this arc was that final episode. One good deed. Because I'm a big Western fan. I love my Westerns. I love John Wayne. I love the Duke. I will watch. I will watch John Wayne movies all day, every day, if I could, and mix it in with some Star Wars. But I love John Wayne and Gary Cooper as well. High Noon, fantastic. One of the greatest Westerns of all time. High Noon. If you have not seen it, go back and watch it. Gary is, oh my gosh, beautiful, beautiful movie. Excellent, excellent movie. And to me, this episode, the third episode of this arc, One Good Deed, was literally just a tribute to High Noon, because Cad Bane comes in the shuttle at noon. He shows up at the police station a few minutes after noon. Well, how does it end? Gunfight. Showdown in the street. Cad Bane versus Nero. I mean, literally one on one. And how does it end? Walking off into the sunset.
Yeah.
This episode right there, pure and simple Western. Hands down. You have Cad Bane, who was filled with just anger and hatred at his best friend because he feels his best friend double crossed him, has taken everything from him, like you mentioned in your psychology corner. He is just rage bent, especially after being in jail and imprisoned by his best friend. And now he finds out that his significant other has ended up marrying his best friend, has since passed away. And he has lost, literally, in his eyes, he has literally lost everything. But little does he know, little Isaac's running around. That's a separate topic, but we'll get into. But I mean, just just the intensity of that showdown, the hatred that Cad Bane had, you could hear it dripping from his words as he's talking to Nero in that scene. It's just so rich and so well done and executed. What were your thoughts, especially on that final arc and especially there at the end with the showdown, how it all went down? What were your thoughts on that, even to the buildup?
Well, I think what hit me is, again, I'm still in my psychology corner, and let's just go to let's traumatize a young kid watching a gunfight, and your dad is shot right in front of you
By your real dad.
by your biological dad. I mean, you're just talking all kinds of issues here. This is more than a mini psychology corner now. This is a full blown therapy sessions for years. Okay, for Isaac. This is the stuff that keeps me in business, my friend. Right?
Job security for David.
Job security, right? So it's how many of us have seen someone shot and killed? I mean, so you talk about intensity. I mean, I don't want anything to do with that. Even people who go by a car wreck, I've talked to a lot of my clients about this, how easy it is for us to get traumatized. If you see a car accident and you see the body over there under a bag, you don't even see the body, but the person's dead. That can be traumatizing for people, So for this young kid to see this and just watch it, it's, I usually do my, suspension of disbelief, but I really was noticing that. I was like, man, I really wish this was more. He didn't see it and then he ran over later, or something like that, but he's watching it. He's right up there on the steps. But like you said, it's intense stuff, and yeah, but very traumatizing.
Oh, very much.
Yeah.
Very traumatizing, and that's what kind of made everything just so intense through this episode, or especially this last episode of the arc. It was just made so intense because you do have the gambit of the kid being there, and it's I honestly will say, I did not, I expected there to be a shootout, especially when they lined up on opposite, but I half expected the kid to get shot because I expected him to run down in front of his dad as they were drawing. That's kind of what I was expecting. And then Nero to be like, dude, you just shot your kid. And then
Right.
of course Cad Bane then go all stoic and shock, and then turn and walk into the sunset and leave his friend there to pick up the pieces. But it didn't get that. Kid lived, and of course the female runs in, is like, stay away from him. And he's like,
Yeah.
oh, I'll walk away. and everybody just lets him walk away. The
Yeah.
dude just shot the sheriff. The dude shot the sheriff, and you're letting him walk away.
Yeah.
Well, he may get 3 or 4 shots off before you get him, but there were enough people there, they would have got him.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know. Again, suspension of disbelief.
That's right.
But yeah, it was to me, that was the best part of this whole arc, was that final episode, because of that gunfight, that whole high noon, high stress, high anticipation, high anxiety situation. Because you have Kane, who's just bent on revenge and bent on anger, being fed by his anger, and you have Nero, who is just waiting. He doesn't. You could tell he holds no ill will
Yeah.
toward Colby.
Yeah.
He was raised different. He holds no ill will toward Colby. He's protecting his son. He's protecting Colby's son. He has guarded Aaron's secret all these years. And it's one of those things that, and when he tries to tell Cad, and Cad's like, "No, I'm done talking." He just flicks his toothpick away and goes for the gun. And at that point, you see the realization in Colby, or in Nero, that, all right, this is not the man I knew. And I think, honestly, Nero knew he wasn't walking away from that fight.
Probably not.
I knew he was. I think,
Yeah.
and deep inside me, I feel Nero knew he wasn't walking away from that gunfight.
Yeah. He was resigned to it.
Mhm.
You know, he was really resigned to it. You know, and it goes back to, we talk about the human heart, where these are duros, right? But, you know, we're using, you know, fiction to talk about humanity, right? And you know, it's always tough to see this when good people get caught literally in the crossfire, in this case the direct fire of bad people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, you know, wrapping things up here in this discussion of this Cad Bane arc, you know, we have a character who we said, the question was asked when we were doing our openings, how does this add to his character? How does this add to the character of Cad Bane? You know, he's the bounty hunter. He's cold. He's heartless. He's a youngling kidnapper, a holocron thief. He kidnaps children, breaks into the Senate. I mean, does all this mean, bad stuff. And he's a bad friend. And he's a deadbeat dad. It doesn't fit. It really just doesn't fit. And point blank question, David, did this enhance the character of Cad Bane for you?
No, not at all. In fact, we already hinted at, you know, at least with the name, and then the rest of this, the mystery. There's just less is more here.
Yes.
Less is more. Less is more. And so, no, I didn't feel like it did that at all. And that's a bummer for me, because I really like this character.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've loved him through the Clone Wars. So good. So good.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Fantastic character. And Cad Bane was a bad guy I liked liking. So, you know, to me, I agree. It did not add anything. If anything, like I said in my opening, it kind of took a bad guy I liked and made me not like him more. So, all right, well, let's get things wrapped up here and get things going. Let's kick off our final reactions here, and I will take it first, David, and then let you go. You know, like I said, there's always something to like in everything. I've said it earlier in the episode, and I've said it before. You can always find good in something. And like I said throughout this discussion, the third episode, to me, was the best of the arc. You know, the High Noon Nest showdown was extremely well executed. no pun intended, but extremely well executed. And the only question that's left me asking is what happened to Isaac? Where's Isaac? You got to tell us what happened to Isaac. You don't tell me Bane has a kid and just leave it hanging. I now need to know what happened to Isaac. And to kind of piggyback on what David did, I know in his opening he ranked the Tales series. So I will end my closing with the closing reactions or final reactions with my rankings. For me, number 1 was Tales of the Jedi, hands down, by far the greatest they did. 2 for me is actually Tales of the Underworld. 3, Tales of the Empire, because I absolutely hated Tales of the Empire. I hated it. There's just no way around it. I will definitely find good things to say about it, as we did when we reviewed it, but I did not like it at all. Yeah, I just couldn't. To me, it had nothing to do with the Empire, the stories they told. So, yeah, that's Tales. That's my ranking. So, David, take it away, my friend. What are your final reactions to the Bane arc?
Yeah, well, it's pretty consistent with the whole theme of this reactions episode, and we've talked a good number of times on this podcast about whether we need more background on characters. Aaron has talked before about, well, oh wait, there's going to be a Han Solo movie. Do we need it? And sometimes you think yes, sometimes you think no. Like, I think about background. Like, sometimes it works. Andor season 1 and 2, in the background there versus what we knew of Andor and Rogue One. I mean, you talk about being successful and just like incredibly successful. And I'm glad to get all that background. And I love that background on Andor. And, it worked so well. And I think that's pretty much across the board. People agree with it. Sometimes it doesn't work. Book of Boba Fett, getting more of that. It was kind of cool, but he's another one who the mystery, right? Didn't someone tally up the amount of minutes he was shown in like Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi or something like that? And, we got more, but I could have done without Book of Boba Fett. I could have done without Book of Boba Fett. I really loved first meeting Boba Fett in the holiday special in animated form, and then of course seeing him in the movies and stuff. But leave it that way. Like I said, it's hard to know if you're the creatives what works, what doesn't work. Andor it worked. I don't think it worked in Book of Boba Fett, and here I don't think it worked with Cad Bane. So I say leave the mystery, and I wish they would have left it with Boba Fett.
I agree. Very good. Very good. Now, for closing, we got homework, folks. I'm going to give you all homework. And David, you got homework as well, because I've already done this. I did it this afternoon. For our review of the Ventress arc, which won't be this next episode, will be the following episode, because next week will be one of our news or Saga World Report news episodes. Then the week after that, we'll be back and we'll discuss the Ventress arc. So for that Ventress arc, your homework, we are going to rank the story arcs from all 3 Tales series. So if you like this arc from this series and this arc from here, and then just arrange it any way you want to. So, but we are going to rank the stories told in the Tales of series. And we want to hear from you. We're going to share ours next in that episode as well. But you can join the discussion. You can leave us yours on any of our socials, Facebook and X at SW Reactions Pod, Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, TikTok, Pinterest, Tumblr, and YouTube at SW Reactions. You can email us your list at swreactions@gmail.com. Or if you want to leave us a voicemail, you can do that at speakpipe.com/Star Wars Reactions. Speaking of voicemail, here's a quick one we got from Daz Davies.
Hey Aaron and David, it's Daz here. Just a quick message to say welcome back. It's great to see Star Wars Reactions back on the podcast feed. You've been really missed. I'm looking forward to hearing more of your reactions to Andor Season 2 and to Tales of the Underworld. I'm even looking forward to hearing some more of the dad jokes. I might have to think about that last one a bit more, perhaps. But anyway, glad you're back. Love you guys. Speak soon and have a good one.
Thank you so much for that, Daz. Appreciate you sitting that in. And it's good to be back and behind the mics again. And I can guarantee you, whether you want them or not, we will have more Star Wars dad jokes.
Love you, Daz.
All right. So with that, you know what that means, David?
Yeah, the end of the show. We're done, right? Wrap it up.
That's right. It is the end of the show. We're going to wrap things up and end it the only way we can, the only way we have done. And that is, of course, with the infamous Star Wars Dad Joke of the Week. And are you ready, David?
I am. I'm ready for this, buddy.
All right, here we go. And I will throw this out too. This joke was again provided by Adam Jung. He sent, before our hiatus, he sent me an email, had like 3 or 4 jokes in it. They were all great. So I told him I was going to use them. Now that we're back recording, we're using them. So here we go. This one is, what was the occupation of the Gamorrean who fell off the roof of the cantina?
What was the occupation of the Gamorrean who fell off the roof of the cantina?
I'm not sure, but he sure wasn't a bouncer.
Oh. What? That's a good one. That's good. I like that one.
Love it. Thank you so much, Adam. That was a great one. He sure wasn't a bouncer. Yes, indeed he wasn't. So, all right. Well, David, why am I going all Matthew McConaughey on us now?
It just works.
Apparently it does. So, with that, my friend, it's been a blast getting behind the mic with you again.
Yeah, we're getting back at this.
We are. So, of course, want to thank everybody for joining us this week. Thank you for being with us and listening in and supporting us through the good times and the bad times, because this year's been a lot more bad times than we expected. So, but we appreciate each and every one of y'all. Y'all are great. We love y'all. Take care of each other, man. Do something kind for somebody, because you never know what they're going through and how much that will impact and make their day just a little bit brighter. Remember, this is your place for elegant discussion for a more civilized age.
This podcast is not endorsed by the Walt Disney Company or by Lucasfilm Limited. It's intended for entertainment and informational purposes only. The official Star Wars website can be found at www.starwars.com. Star Wars. All names, sounds, and any other Star Wars related items are registered trademarks and or copyrights of Disney and the respective trademark and copyright holders. All original content of this podcast is the intellectual property of Star Wars Reactions unless otherwise indicated. Star Wars Reactions. Elegant discussion for a more civilized age.